everybody, how y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Well, I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Big ups to everybody who has still been supporting me, still supporting me to this day. I so appreciate each and every one of you. And those of you who have recently subscribed, I welcome you to Mocha's Cafe de Paris family. And ladies, if you haven't already, I do have a separate channel specifically for us, Mocha's Ladies Lounge. So if you'd rather be in a space where it's just, positive feminine energy, you're more than welcome to subscribe over there. And no, we don't do all type of male bashing and dragging and things of that nature, but we do discuss issues that are pertaining to women, that I really feel that women will find essential to everyday problems and issues. So nevertheless, I want to get into this right away because I don't want to make this content extremely long. However, I thought it was very imperative that I discuss this because at this point, it is more than a coincidence. It is becoming very continuous. I'm starting to notice, and I'm sure some of you as well probably have also noticed that there are a lot of black male content creators that are passing away right before our eyes. And it's very strange that these particular individuals really had not a lot of knowledge when it came to black women, on how women should conduct themselves, or on how black men should conduct themselves as black men. And they had all of this advice, all of this wisdom and knowledge, and not only that, they had a large fan base, a large amount of supporters who respected and pretty much worshipped the majority of their content and the majority of the knowledge that they would disperse and put out there through social media. So these were individuals that was well respected, despite a few of the negative things that surrounded them personally, despite criminal histories, despite past baggage of multiple failed marriages, despite health issues that they were not maintaining for themselves, but yet they were able to advise black women and black men on how they needed to take care of themselves, on how much money they needed to be making in order to be relevant or have a certain type of status in order to feel validated. We had a lot of these particular individuals that really had, a whole lot to say about the black community. Basically letting us know our faults as black women, letting us know as basically making black men feel inferior if he didn't drive a certain car, if he didn't make a certain amount of money, basically making black men feel inadequate, like you don't have a purpose in society if you're not wearing designer labels, if you're not making a certain amount of money, that you're not worthy enough of getting a certain type of women. There's been a lot of false narratives and unrealistic expectations that have been set for us within the black community that they themselves also struggle to live up to, but nevertheless, the way the black community works, we go by what we see, not by what we know. So as long as it looks like a person has it well together, just image alone makes us feel that certain people are qualified to give that advice or to share the knowledge that they have based on how they look, based on what type of designer clothes, what type of suits they're wearing, what type of credentials they claim they have without really producing the receipts, as far as telling black men what qualifies them as black men, as real black men, and what qualifies black women as being real black women. So nevertheless, we know who these individuals are. We have one that just passed away recently, and it was definitely a culture shock to those, I would say this, who respect the pimpology, the pimp game. And ironically, it's been a lot of them that have been passing as well. I know Pimp Kenny Red passed not too long ago, maybe like a month ago, and I found it very ironic that you know, with all due respect, Mr. Sinful P was giving a little, you know, nice tribute to Pimp Kenny Red, and he himself, you know, just passed, you know, allegedly, I think yesterday or the day before. So definitely, you know, like I said, regardless of, you know, somebody's lifestyle or the way they have lived, whether we feel they should are worthy enough to be acknowledged or not. In other words, regardless of our personal biases, as far as how we feel towards these individuals, and specifically, you know, I still, to the best of my ability, try to respect those who have passed on to be with the Lord and Savior. So I say all of that to say this: it is very imperative that we as black men and black women, we learn how to self-care, learning how to care for self, learning how to care for our health, learning how to care for our well-being, for our mental, for our emotional, our spiritual, before we can guide or instruct or preach and teach others how they need to better themselves as black men or black women, how we need to utilize common sense, wisdom, and knowledge in order for us to be able to preach and teach. It's very important that we first make sure we are practicing what we preach, and also make sure that we put just as much energy into maintaining our own mental, physical, and spiritual before we take it upon ourselves to take on these roles as dating coaches, as pimp philosophers, as relationship experts, whatever we qualify ourselves to be in the YouTube streets. It's imperative that we have our own lives in order before we go around speaking, preaching, and call ourselves reaching the black community. We have to, it all first begins with self-care. Before you can get self-righteous, learn self-care. It's too many individuals that are preaching against things that they themselves are struggling with. We have black men that are preaching and teaching to the black community how black women are not taking care of themselves, how we are obese, how we are overweight, how we, you know, are you know, being neglectful with our body care, how we have a high excessive amount of body count, how many of us have had multiple failed relationships. Yet these same individuals that have preached and teached against black women, they themselves have also had the very issue, the same issues that they themselves have failed to take care of. You know, these individuals have also got a track record of failed marriages, failed relationships. They did not marry they baby mamas as much as they like to ridicule and dictate black women that are single mothers. They themselves who like to get on black women about being obese, neglecting, taking care of their health. These men have passed away from hypertension. These men have had issues with their cholesterol. These men have not been going to the doctor regularly, getting their medication, getting their physical, getting exams done, because what tends to happen is we become so fixated off of the views and the cash apps and the donations that we start neglecting our own personal self-care, because again, what tends to happen is image tends to consume us more than our self-care. Okay, we get addicted to the popularity and the profits that we start becoming neglectful in other personal areas in our lives. We become so infatuated with setting up your camera, putting on the show so you can get all of your followers and your subscribers to catch you live in action, right as you're preparing for your live stream, while you should be using that same amount of time that you put into setting up live streams. You need to be making doctor's appointments. You need to be keeping up with your medicine, your medication, making sure you're getting your medication regularly prescribed and fulfilled, so that you don't fall behind on taking your medication regularly. Me, myself, I'm on medication. It's times where I've had to not upload for a while just so I can take care of myself, so I can see my doctor, so I can pick up my medication. Self-care is more important than being self-righteous. And that's what a lot of these individuals are not understanding. So again, we become so consumed, we become so asphyxiated on the cash apps, on the super chats, on the donations, that we forget to make sure we're donating time for ourselves. Okay? And what tends to happen with a lot of these content creators, they become so fixated on the love, the support, and the popularity. They become so fixated with that they fail to take care of themselves. Like I said, they're not going to the therapy because they're so busy being therapists. They're so busy being relationship experts or certified YouTube counselors, or YouTube prophets, or YouTube pastors, whatever you want to consider them as. And they are preaching things that they need for themselves. They are preaching and teaching to black men and black women on how to seek the right type of companion or partner, yet they don't have one. They're having casual sexual flames with random women or random men who unfortunately was at their side during the time of their demise. But yet they have all the answers for telling black women what type of black men they should select, or telling black men what type of women that should be worthy of them. Yet they have all these answers, but when it boiled down to it, in their dire time of need, they didn't have that type of individual in their presence at their last moments that they've been speaking and preaching for black men and black women to have. It's a lot of brothers and sisters, I might add, that's on these YouTube streets that are speaking and preaching on things that they themselves are not living up to. And the sad part is, you normally don't find out until something tragic happens. You don't find out, as much as they've been preaching health care and black men and black women taking care of themselves. You find out after they done passed away, or or something tragically happens, that they didn't even have medical insurance, that they didn't even have life insurance. They're putting up GoFundMes. And these same people who've been supporting and following them and rocking with them, and giving them praise and worship service throughout the duration of their YouTube career, these same individuals are not donating to their GoFunds. These same ones that were giving them shout outs during their time of living, when they content was popping, everybody was shouting out these individuals. They were shouting out the Godfathers, shouting out the pimps, shouting out the sisterhood, the sisterhood committee leaders, or whatever you want to call them type of sisters too, who also do all this black bashing. But yet, the moment something happens to these individuals, they're the main ones that's clout chasing, consistently using their name throughout their content to make their platform continue to grow and accelerate. Yet they have not donated not $2 to these individuals who they praised and worshiped throughout the duration of their YouTube career. They haven't donated anything to their GoFundMe, but they're steady shouting their names out and giving them shout outs. Rest in peace to so and so. Rest in peace to this brother. Rest in peace to blah, blah. So their names can continue to keep accelerating through the algorithms. But yet, they didn't put $2 when these individuals passed away to their GoFundMe. Like the saying goes, you find out who your real friends are. You find out who really has your back and who really supports you. When it really gets down to it, anybody can talk a good game, but you find out where people loyalty really lies. And I definitely got to say this, and it may rub some people the wrong way, but I'm just gonna keep it a buck. A lot of these guys that was going so hard, and women that was going so hard for these certain individuals who passed away, truth is, a lot of these individuals was a threat, because their platform continued to get bigger, their fan base continued to keep growing. So a lot of these men and women who claim to have so much love for these YouTube, these popular YouTube content creators, truth is, they were also relieved for them to go, because they wanted they wanted the spotlight for themselves. But see, y'all not ready for that conversation, because you think every time somebody says, I got love for this brother, I got love for this sister, they really got love for them, when the truth of the matter is, they love them as far as being able to be in the presence of their spotlight. They want some of that spotlight, better known as clout chasing. All of these individuals giving shout outs to the most popular content creators, so their names could keep pushing through the algorithms. But at the same token, they don't have no more love for these individuals than the black women or black men they claim are offended by the content that's supposedly too hard for them to handle. Y'all don't have no more love for these individuals than the ones that are getting bashed by them. Hello. See, I'm about to play church. I'm not about to sit up in here and play with y'all today. We're not playing today, because y'all so asphyxiated on making it seem like the ones that these individuals was speaking and preaching against. Y'all want to make it seem like they were the only ones that was the haters. But guess what? In the words of Drake, you got a lot of these individuals who got fake love. Do you not know you have haters that got fake love? But it's more evident to deflect that it's the black women who are haters who got a problem with it, or it's the black men who got a problem that go against these individuals. Something wrong with them. They are the haters. It's easy to highlight those that are being bashed and spoken negatively against as the haters. But guess what? You same brothers and sisters who been boosting up y'all favorite content creators, shouting them out on your platform and your channel, y'all was hating just as much as the ones that they was bashing and speaking and preaching against. Y'all not ready for that conversation. Y'all was ready for these brothers to go. these brothers y'all put on the pedestal, these sisters y'all put on the pedestal, that was speaking the truth, that was putting black women in their place, putting black men in their place. All the time, you wanted they place your damn self. The problem with the black community, everybody wants to be on top. It's that crab in the barrel mentality that has really screwed us more than anything. And it's gotten to the point now to where black people have become so naive and so gullible. They let anybody in that pretends to have love and respect for our culture, especially if they are speaking and preaching on the principles of the individuals that we personally have a problem with. The goddamn Cookie Monster could say, I can't stand black women. Black women is trash. Watch everybody donate the Cookie Monster from Sesame Street. Or Big Bird from Sesame Street could say, all black men are trash, they bums, they deadbeats. Watch how many bitter sisters start donating to the damn Yellow Bird, Big Bird. Anybody can come in and have their way with our culture because we have just that much animosity and hatred towards one another. We let anybody come in. I'm surprised really a Ku Klux Klan ain't came in and y'all didn't let them in. You're letting in everybody else. That's not us, because they're validating and preaching the narratives that they've been adopting from us, that they stole from us. Y'all letting them come right on in. Hell, I guess a Nazi could come up in here in the black sector and say black women ain't crap, and y'all let them right on there on your panel. Sisters ain't no exception. It could be a Nazi coming in and all black men is trash. You'll let them come on your panel. Everybody has the luxury and the benefit of reaping the benefits of the black bashing. Long as you can bash one gender, it don't matter what your ulterior or your hidden agenda is. Long as you're speaking and preaching the manosphere, the manosphere points, or as long as you are preaching the bitter black woman narratives, you're in there. As long as you pick a side, you're in there. You get full-time membership. Because the black community is so gullible, they don't take no time to do no research to really find out what a person is before they give them leverage to become a mascot to speak and preach against black men or black women, or to speak for black men or for black women. Anybody can get a black access pass. Long as they're going against the grain and regurgitating narratives that already been speaked and preached against. Now let me get back to this self-righteousness and self-care. It's a lot of individuals who come up in these YouTube streets, got the answers for everybody else's life but their own. They're not doing what they're supposed to do for themselves, for their family, for their children, for their wives, for their husbands or men or whatever. But yet, they have all the answers on what you should do as a black woman, on how you should live as a black man. It's not a coincidence at this point. It's become a trend. And if a light bulb has not gone off in your mindset yet, something needs to register and click. Why we got so many people passing away that seems that they have all of the answers for how black men and black women need to take care of themselves. And all this time, they're not doing what they need to do for themselves. And at the end of the day, I don't bash these individuals, but what I will say is this. We all need to learn something from this. It's no different than these pastors in the congregation who got problems with their own marriage, but and they're fornicating and sleeping around with multiple women in the church, but they're sitting up here speaking fornication, teaching against fornication, teaching against adultery. And the black community, this is our fault. We have created these monsters. We have created these YouTube monsters. We have created the Derek Jacksons. We've created the Kevin Samuels, the sinful people. We've created because of all the support that we give these individuals. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to knock their level of intelligence. You could be a very intelligent person. You could be book smart. You could be well educated and just as dirty and low down, heartless, selfish, greedy. You could talk a good game and still be foul. Like I said, no different than these pastors. Now these pastors be well dressed, have the mega built mansions, mega built churches. Behind closed doors, stealing from their own church members, taking advantage of the elderly, having multiple, taking advantage of vulnerable women that are lonely, who seek companionship, taking advantage of their vulnerability instead of being a real leader, instead of being a real friend, a real spiritual leader or advisor, going to these women houses alone instead of taking them wives with them, knowing what's going to happen. You don't put yourself in a vulnerable position as a pastor or a spiritual leader or a cultural leader. Putting yourself in allowing people that's vulnerable to be in your presence, knowing you ain't right and knowing you're going to try them because you dirty your damn self. A lot of us, whether we want to face it or not, all of us got our own personal demons that we are struggling with behind closed doors. But we get up in these YouTube streets. And I will say this much. I'm not God. I don't get to pick and decide who God has forgiven. I can't say or can say who has truly repented. Who has truly turned their life over to the Lord. I don't know any of these individuals' hearts. So at the same time, I am being judgmental, but I will also say that I really can't say my opinion does not dictate what God has granted as far as forgiveness for these individuals. They probably did make it into the pearly gates. They probably did during their last final moments was given the privilege to ask forgiveness, to ask God for forgiveness. I can't speak for them on that. But I will say this. We all need to learn and understand that while we are up here, and you ain't got to be a YouTuber. You can be a husband up here telling your wife how she needs to live, how she needs to better herself. You could be a wife telling your husband how he needs to be a better husband. You could be a mother telling your kids how they need to live right. You could be a father. Whatever leadership role you got in your life, your shit need to be in order before you go preaching and teaching to those who follow you. You don't have to be just a popular YouTuber content creator to not have a leadership role. You can't lead as a husband and tell your wife what she needs to do to be a better woman for you, but you up here doing dirty shit behind closed doors in your marriage. You're sneaking and creeping with other women. You taking your savings account, spending money, doing other things that's immoral within your marriage, but yet you riding her, you getting on her, you verbally abusing her, and in some cases you may be verbally assaulting her while you're not living and doing what you're supposed to do as a good husband. No different than a wife. You fornicating, having relations on your husband, but yet you try to make him feel inadequate, like he's less than a man, like he should be doing more, when in actuality you still have Jezebel behavior. You have not truly eliminated out your life as a parent, as a father, as a mother. You're not doing anything to break that generational curse. Some of y'all be riding y'all kids, consistently criticizing them, tearing them down, instead of building them up, because you have your own demons that you have not conquered from your childhood. You have your own demons that you have not dealt with from your past, and you're taking it out on your children, calling them dumb, saying they're stupid, they're not man enough, they're not woman enough, because it's a lot of dirty ass things you done in your lifetime that you have not truly repented for. You can't be set free, so therefore you keep your children in bondage with you by being verbally or physically abusive. See, the black community, y'all don't want to talk about this. Y'all just want to talk about what black women need to do with their hair, or what black men need to do other than working a 9 to 5 or working paycheck to paycheck. A man working and providing for his family, that's all that goddamn matters. Doesn't make him less of a man because he's not making a certain amount of figures, because you can sit in your suit and get on YouTube and sit up here and tell a man, if you ain't making a certain amount of money, you don't qualify to get a certain type of woman. A man that handles his business, regardless of how much money he makes, that's what being a man is about. Taking care of your family, taking care of your children, not adding any extra responsibilities onto your life that you can't afford. That's what being a man is. Being a woman is handling your business, not going around here blaming society, blaming all the bad men you done chose for the reason as to why your life didn't turn out the way it did. Owning it, learning from it, and doing better. That's what builds your character. We have all of these people right before us passing away. And truth be told, none of us know the day or the hour when our Lord and Savior is going to come for us. That's an appointment that you don't get to delay. You don't get to counsel. You know how you can call your doctor's appointment if you got something to do and say, well, I would like to cancel, I would like to reschedule. When the maker when he decides what day is your day, guess what? There's not always going to be a warning. Some of us are fortunate and blessed and may be extended that grace where we will kind of get some type of heads up where we can make amends with people we have wronged, where we can ask for forgiveness. Not everybody gonna get a deathbed. Everybody's not going to be granted that privilege. Some of us going right then and there. If you ain't at peace with God, in the words of Scarface, the rapper from Ghetto Boys, if you ain't at peace with God, you better patch it up. A lot of y'all so busy focusing on image, focusing on money. As the saying goes, health is better than wealth. Y'all better be going to these doctors regularly, getting your exams, getting your physical, taking your medication. You know what? A lot of y'all probably supposed to be taking medication and don't even know it because you don't go to a doctor. Listen, had I not been going to the doctor regularly, I would have known, I would not have known I was diabetic. I would have still been around here eating and drinking all kind of stuff I shouldn't have been eating and drinking. Worsening my condition. Fortunately, They caught it soon enough before I went into insulin. I had to use needles. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people, they are not taking care of themselves. These same ones who y'all praise and give worship service, they're not taking care of themselves. They not going to no doctor. When all it took was seeing a doctor, could have caught it just in time. Just in time. How many of y'all have been in a situation where you went to the doctor told you, good thing you came to us because you only had 1 month. You only had 2 weeks. I was on the edge of high blood sugar. High sugar. Didn't even know it, y'all. Around here eating and drinking everything. Just as la-di-da-di-da, hunky-dory, whoop-de-woo. Take a regular doctor visit. Regular exam, y'all. Wasn't even expecting to hear that. And thank God it wasn't something detrimental like cancer or something. Some of y'all walk around here cancer stricken. But you don't know that because you're on YouTube all goddamn day and the chat room running your mouth, or you too busy uploading live streams. Supposed to be taking pills for high blood pressure. Now, high blood pressure, let me tell y'all something. In the black community, that they call that the silent killer. Didn't know I had that one time till I did a regular exam. I'm telling y'all, I was feeling fine. I was feeling good. Chilled. People sat there and told me how high my doggone blood pressure was. I was like, are y'all serious? And the nurse was like, it happens to many because it's a silent killer. A lot of y'all walk around here with silent killers. Hypertension, glaucoma, high blood pressure, diabetic type 1, type 2, shit, STDs, AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea, kidney disease, breast cancer, colon cancer. Walking around here with all kind of diseases. Don't even know. You just 1 month, 1 week away from not being here. Because you're too busy focusing on everybody else's failures and what they need to do in their life instead of maintaining and managing your own. And guess what? I'm learning from this like y'all are. Honestly, I have not done any real spiritual cleansing. I've been out my word for a while. I got to get back and go into my word. Because these YouTube streets is toxic. You'll find yourself on YouTube more than in the word. You'll find yourself more in the world and less in the word. I'm guilty. I'm not telling y'all something that my black behind ain't doing. Need to detox from things that aren't spiritual cleansing and aren't contributing any spiritual healing. On these YouTube streets, hours and hours and hours at a time. Sometimes you got to get off this thing, go take a walk, go walk the park, renew your mind. I walk 4 days out the week. Matter of fact, I got to leave as soon as I log off of here and go do my walk. That's part of my health journey. To keep my sugar from going so high, I have to walk and run at least 4 days out the week. Fortunately, I went to the doctor early enough that way I was able to find that out. Versus sitting on these live streams for 5-6 hours out the day. 2, 3, 4, 5 times out the week. And if y'all notice, a lot of y'all own content creators, if you notice, the ones y'all worship and praise, they're putting on excessive weight while they telling women they need to lose weight. They getting big as a house. They sitting behind the desk while they going live on their mics. They could barely push their chairs all the way up. Because they got so much stomach. Eating healthy. Let me tell you something. These cash apps, these donations, we have you eating good, boy. Have you eating real good. Getting them Popeyes, White Castle, Arby's. Damn, I want a sandwich now from Arby's. I shouldn't even bought that up. Eating real good. A lot of them, they can't do nothing but sit on live. Because they too heavy and overweight to go work a real job. They can't do that real labor shit like warehouse work, construction, stuff like that. You got a lot of these dudes and women been live streaming, done become making a consecrated a full-time job. All they do is sit on their behind, sit behind their mics, and talk shit all day on black men and black women. But every time you turn around, they getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They getting huge. I ain't gonna say no names. Y'all know who they are. A lot of these male consecrators getting big, man. They getting huge. I know half of them wear a extra, 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 extra large in men's shirts. But when they get on women about their weight, you got women getting on these men about how they need to take care of themselves and what they need to do, and they ain't going to the doctors either. They ain't getting a regular damn vaginal exams, pap smears, and stuff like that. These YouTube streets are addicting. We need to learn to get addicted to our health, just like we are with the cash apps and the donations and the shout outs. Too many black men are dying at a young age. Listen, y'all, a lot of these diseases we get now, remember, your grandparents didn't get that stuff till they got in their 60s or 70s. Remember, diabetes was something only older people would get after their 60s. Hypertension, high blood pressure. Remember, only our grandparents used to get that stuff in our 60s. Hell, we getting it in our 30s now. Some cases we get in our 20s. It's been young people who died from strokes in their middle 20s. Shout out to female rapper MC Trouble, who was in her 20s, I believe, when she died of a stroke. I say, you got everybody eating good, looking good, and can't tell you when the last time they've been to a doctor. But they still well dressed, rocking the latest throwback jerseys, rocking the latest hats and caps and suits. I ain't going to no doctor, but buy a brand new jersey before they go pay for that Amdolafine, for that damn high blood pressure. The black communities and their priorities. Some ain't paying on their taxes. Some ain't paying on their child support. Some of these individuals, women too, ain't paying their rent, ain't paying their mortgage, but to sit up here and get up on these YouTube streets and will preach and teach to all black men and women on what they need to do to handle their business. And next thing you notice, something happens, they got to put up a GoFundMe. None of their family come and speak out on their behalf and say they was a wonderful man, they was a wonderful, wonderful father, a wonderful mother, a wonderful friend. Ain't too many, nobody got nothing good to say about them in their real life. You notice that? All of these YouTubers, y'all favorite content creators, something happens to them. Only people who know they ass through social media and never met them in person, only listen to their content and view their videos, got so much wonderful to say, like they dealt with these people personally. Like you went out and had ribs and barbecue, like you and this person had personal interactions. You only favored them because they was bashing or attacking a certain group of individuals you don't care for. But they're the ones that got everything nice to say. But no one personally who knows them, their own children don't come out and say nothing nice about them. Their own ex-wife, their own ex-husband. Why nobody, their own mothers and fathers, why nobody who knows these people personally ever come out and have something nice to say? Only subscribers and followers who don't know them personally up here caping hard like they just know these people was just so wonderful and great. Only because they was teaching and preaching against a group of people that you don't care for yourself. And you want to give them all these accolades and praises and worship service. But people who know them personally will not come and speak on their behalf. Their own mamas, their own children. My father, outside of YouTube, my father was a good father. He did take care of me. He was there for me. He provided for me. Nobody who personally knows them has anything right or positive to say. Only capers, minions, YouTube followers who ain't even sat down and had a goddamn cup of coffee with them. Got all these wonderful goddamn things to say. Y'all don't know these damn individuals. Y'all don't personally know them. You only know what they teach and preach. No different than any congregations. My pastor's a wonderful pastor. My pastor is saved and filled with the Holy Ghost. The pastor, they never even had lunch with them. Don't know nothing other than he's the man who know how to get animated when he's preaching his word. He know how to get the crowd going. Know how to prep up the audience to get everybody into what he is saying because he's so animated. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to get ready to go ahead and shut this down. I just thought it was imperative that I gave my opinion on this. Definitely rest in peace to all of these individuals who was so dearly worshipped and praised and admired. May their souls rest in peace. Hopefully, they were able to make their peace with the Father. With their Heavenly Father. Hopefully, their loved ones, those who worshipped and praised and respected these individuals, will find peace with their loss. And again, y'all, start learning how to be more focused on self-care than being self-righteous. It is your girl, your diva, and knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Please, before you exit, hit that like button. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. Ladies, don't forget, subscribe to Mocha's Ladies Lounge. I'm going to be doing a series on Unhinged, talking about these side chicks that took matters in their own hands, who have actually murked either the man that they were dealing with or either the man's wife or family. You know, a lot of these side chicks, when they no longer can have things their way, they start to get unhinged. We're going to be discussing that over there. There's a couple of cases in which side chicks actually murked, because I don't want to say the other word, the companions of the individuals who they were having a fornicating or adulterous relationship with, and could not handle no longer being desired or no longer wanted. So they took matters in their own hands by actually knocking off the companions who absolutely had nothing to do with the actions of them. So nevertheless, we're going to be talking about that. It's going to be my Unhinged series at my Mocha's Ladies Lounge channel. Those of you who want to order tumblers, cups, you're more than welcome to do so. Please make sure you email me if you're interested in cable. I got 9,000 channels. Also comes with video on demand. My last cable app didn't, but this one does. This app that I currently have is one of the best cable apps I have. So if you're tired of paying these cable companies over $100 a month, Dish Network, if you have really good internet, at least 30 gigabytes per second or higher, you have to have good internet. You cannot have that what they call it, broadband. You cannot have that raggedy internet if you really want to get good quality streaming service. So I recommend, if you want cable from me, first do a speed test, download on your phone so you can see your amount of gigabytes. If you're getting less than 25, you do not want to sign up for my services, because you're going to get real shitty streaming, and it's not going to be my fault. Okay, please do a speed test through your phone while you are in your home, not when you out at McDonald's somewhere. Perform a speed test on your phone. It's going to tell you how strong your internet is. I think it's speedtest.com. It's several of them. But you need to be at home when you perform the test so you get the accurate amount of internet speed before you sign up. I can either provide you an Amazon stick for $60 with a month of cable already ready to go, or if you have an Amazon stick and you want to see what my cable has to offer, email me. I will give you the information to install on your Fire Stick, and if you like it, after a month, after you paid your first month, which is $25, my cable will be $25 a month, and we could continue to keep going from there. So anyway, y'all have a good one, a good weekend. We get ready to go into the new year, y'all. It's time to make a change. Learn self-care instead of being self-righteous. Y'all be blessed. Take care.